It's rational for women to fear men. But then the thing is, people with anxiety fear a lot of things that might be considered irrational. Or maybe not, because we live in a climate where it seems like anything's possible and there's a lot of stuff going on. It's not a justifiable reason for women to go hating all men or calling them all like stalkers and stuff. Like, see, that's something we can agree on. Okay, guys, this is part 2. We're back. Same day. Like, literally, I just filmed part 1 now. Okay, let's go.
Only women should make laws about women's bodies.
Okay, only 2 people.
I'm gonna add a minor caveat to this and not say that like entirely just women. It's more important that people who are educated on the female body are the people who are allowed to make laws about the female body.
Well, of course that people should be like educated in whatever law they're gonna make, right? Oh, you know what good topic they should do? I was gonna make a video on this, but then I realized how it's gonna look like, and then I kind of changed my mind. But basically there's this. I'll put the article right here, and I was gonna make a video on it. Maybe I will, but maybe I won't. I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, just kind of a side note.
You know, I think there are a lot of men who hold a lot of power, who are on our side, who are not doing enough.
The cost of everything is on the rise.
Yeah, the cost of everything is on the rise, and including the number of ads is on the rise. Follow me on Rumble, because one day, who knows what they're gonna do. Rumble is simply less. Okay.
I want to say it's funny because I think you all spoke for us, because I think you all agreed that everyone should be involved in making these laws. We need men. You see how simple that was?
And men can be women these days.
Men can't be women if they actively identify as men.
Oh, here we go with that discussion.
Not a thing.
I currently identify as a man.
Okay, then you're a man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, so unfortunately I ran out of storage. That's why I had to film this like a few days later. But we're gonna continue where we left off. So let's continue.
I currently identify as a man.
Okay, then you're a man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Y'all think this is a joke, but like this is actually real. Like, people are not just joking. Like, this is actually serious. That's all I'll say. By the way, I sped it up a bit.
I don't think we should think about men versus women. I think we should have intelligence.
It's not about men versus women. Of course, men are going to be involved with creating laws and putting laws into place. But when we're talking about the language, when we're talking about verbiage for these laws, shouldn't a woman be, multiple women, preferably, be involved? Yeah, be at the forefront of what these laws look like for us.
I think it's less about a man versus a woman and more about the way society is now versus 50 years ago. People that you didn't even vote for, that are spending lifelong terms in Congress and such. You know, that's in the Supreme Court. That's more of an issue to me than worrying about if a man or a woman wrote this law.
These will be the last ones, and I know these will be more interesting because, yeah, you'll see.
I secretly crave men's approval.
Yeah. Men's approval has kept me safe in so many ways.
Wait, the feminists stepped forward, but not the anti-feminists. Y'all, plot twist. You guys probably thought it was gonna be the other way around, but look what it is. Because everybody is always like saying that like anti-feminists are all like, what's it called, pick me girls. They just want guys' attention. They want guys to like them. That's why they're trying to be on their side or whatever. But we have male feminists too, so that argument doesn't 100% make sense either. Because if you're saying that being an anti-feminist is craving guys' approval and it's gonna make them happy, then that's just proving that all guys or guys in general are anti-feminists or they're misogynist. Like, just really think of that argument for a second.
Men's approval is what stands between me and safety.
I firmly believe that the reason why I waited so long to come out with my transness is because I was afraid of losing male approval. It is so embedded into our society. I really pushed myself to present in a way that wasn't authentic to me for men. I'm trying to unlearn this like very actively and trying to fight for nobody's approval but myself. Like, because it's not even that I should have men's approval or I should need men's approval or women's approval. I should need my own approval.
Yeah, and I think this
that's
content might be
true.
surprising for some folks to see us sitting here.
Because we're like so feminist, but like,
But it's a reminder that this work doesn't happen in a vacuum. And that because I am implicated in what is happening, right, in the issues, I am implicated in the issues, that's why I do the work. Because I am impacted by them.
I never thought of a moment where I thought to myself, oh, I wish that man would find me sexy because I feel so empowered in myself. I always dress like this from head to toe, covered usually from head to toe, and I don't think I've ever experienced a moment, perhaps subconsciously, but I don't think I've ever.
Who are you dressing modern and modest for?
For myself, because it empowers me. I am Nigerian first and foremost, and because of that, in our culture, we've always been very modest. We didn't even have a word for it. It's just that's how women dress. We layer on top of layers on top of layers.
You know, this reminds me of the whole thing with like Muslim women who decide to wear the hijab or the niqab or the full thing, you know? And like some people think that they're oppressed, and it's like they're divided because of one side is like, oh, you're oppressed. Like society wants you to be modest, but then they don't at the same time. So I know that women who wear hijabs are very judged. They're very judged, and people think they're being forced. And that's a whole other can of worms I'd be opening. That's just a whole different discussion. But for those who have a choice, for the women who do have a choice in what they wear, let them choose if they want to wear the hijab because that's their faith, that's their beliefs. Let them. Don't say, like, you know, it's like things are going backwards. It's like the more you cover up, the more people get mad. But then that's why it's so divided, like black and white all the time, you know, like just
Those skin, I always felt so uncomfortable.
Me too.
Why did you
No.
feel uncomfortable with showing your skin? I'm not saying that that's wrong. I'm just asking out of curiosity.
Because it's not who I am.
But I also think we'd be denying reality if we said when we put clothes on the morning, we didn't think about the way that we would navigate the world in them.
Okay, I love this discussion because as you guys can see, I am very clothed in my videos. I am not revealing at all in my videos. In fact, you know, if there's any videos I've ever made in the past where I feel like I was wearing like even a tank top, I would like take it down, or like just depends where the camera is, you feel? Like, our bodies are all different. There's some people who will wear really loose clothing and you can still see the outline, you know, like the way they look. I'd rather you guys see me for my brain than the way I look, which is I say that in all my videos, which probably explains why the comments are the way they are. I love feeling covered up, you know, like I like feeling like even at night sometimes I'll put like the blanket over me. Like I like feeling covered up because it makes me feel more comfortable, even hidden. Like, if you were to wear like, let's say like really tight things or things that like kind of ride up or go like they go too low or ride up your butt, every second you'd be just like pulling it up, pulling it down. It's just a distraction. Like then it just, you get all paranoid. The way I like to dress is just what makes me comfortable, and as you guys can see, you can tell from my videos like the way I make sure everything's fine. And even when I do like videos like dances on my other shorts, I always make sure what I'm wearing is like loose, like, you know, like there is a reason, you know, or at least not revealing. It's just the way I am. Plus it's nice to leave some things as a mystery, you know, the way you think, the way you look.
Clothing choices are also about access to power, access to moving through spaces, being seen as acceptable in certain spaces, right?
Like covering up, not necessarily because you feel like that empowers you, but covering up because it's a sense of safety. Like,
Yeah.
so an assault victim comes forward, like they're not allowed to ask what
they
were
were
you wearing. Like,
Yes,
but that's. But
No, I don't think assaults are ever justified. Like you cannot say that, oh, I have a right to assault you or R-word you, because I hate that word, because of what you were wearing. Some people may get away with the argument of catcalling, like, oh, it makes sense for someone to catcall you, like be like, hey, beautiful, based on what you're wearing. That's an argument some people can get behind. I'm not saying like you should harass people in the street, no, because people like to twist words these days, especially with assault and the R wording people. It's not acceptable. Because if you think it's because of the clothes, there's little kids or people who are fully covered up that this happens to. No. Terrible.
it's very bad. It's very
Yeah.
it's very dehumanizing.
Victim
because
blaming.
that,
It was their fault.
that it was their fault.
I think we can all agree on
Yes.
that.
Yeah, I just don't really care about men. Like, men are not a part of my day. When I wake up in the morning, I think about how to be the baddest, how to step into the men I attract. They like me because I am like no one else they've met. Like,
I get that a lot. Like, you're so different. Like, I've never met someone like you. But do they really mean it? No, but like sometimes I add humor in my videos. Don't take me too seriously.
Wanting men's approval, we're talking about if they want to hire me, if they want to let me have access to that social mobility, and if they will allow me to be safe walking down the street or in a bar. Men's approval is so much deeper and more systemic than just romantic.
You know, I'm a blogger and I write about women's like makeup. I go into those meetings, they are white men. And although I do not go into it thinking, oh my God, I should seek their approval, I do know that the way I dress conservatively gets me those checks.
and probably as a black woman, how you wear your hair as well.
Oh, yeah, they love this.
I'm noticing that there's more agreements between the women feminists and anti-feminists instead of the men. Like, I feel like with the men's one, there was more like arguing, but it seems like there's like a lot of agreeing here. Okay, last one, y'all. This was fun.
For women,
It's rational for
men.
women to fear men. Yeah, I mean, but then the thing is, people with anxiety fear a lot of things that might be considered irrational. So, or maybe not, because we live in a climate where it seems like anything's possible, and there's a lot of stuff going on. So let's see what they say.
Almost every single woman has some sort of story where she was in a room or in a space with a man and that man made her feel unsafe.
Yeah. It's happened to all of us girls at some point, or like most of us. So many stories, especially when I was younger. Now it's not as much anymore. Like when I was younger, I did have kind of weird encounters in my life. Like not every single time I went out, but I noticed this, like the looking, the stares, the coming up to me. And it's not that I necessarily felt unsafe, but my body went into a fight or flight. Even today, like I was at the store, like I was walking, I almost like ran into this guy. Like they looked a little bit younger than me, but like there was two guys. I kept walking, and then I noticed that he kind of came in my aisle, and then I heard them right behind me say following her. And I wasn't like freaked out, right? I went into the other aisle, and then like I saw that they kind of came where I was. Like I'm not gonna be like, story time, almost got kidnapped, followed home. No. I didn't make this a big deal. I didn't tell anybody at all. Like body kind of just went into like a fight or flight in that moment. Because I remember all the times when I was younger, sometimes I'd get followed and it'd make me uncomfortable. There's so many stories of things that have happened. Again, I don't fear all men. I don't think all men are bad. Absolutely not. I don't group people in boxes. However, you don't see girls getting stalked and followed by other girls, really. I mean, you look at statistics and stuff, so it kind of makes sense. But it's not a justifiable reason for women to go hating all men or calling them all like stalkers and stuff. Like, see, that's something we can agree on. That's just a sad reality. Where are we?
If every single woman has a story like that, it's rational.
Absolutely.
Factor. I actually hate the cops. Just saying.
Oh, that's interesting, actually. This is why, see, this is the thing. With Isabella saying, like, she hates cops, I know people would be like, but are you really anti-feminist? Because they think that anti-feminists are automatically conservative, and conservatives love their guns and cops. And, like, that's the thing with, like, boxing people and stuff like that. Like, that's why it's not good to box people in, like, labels and just see them as individuals, like we always keep saying. Oh, this girl thinks it's not really rational, or she doesn't agree with the prompt.
So let's start by saying the conversation that I just listened to, I don't disagree with much of what we were talking about. When this prompt was asked, I interpreted the prompt to say, to communicate, it is rational for women to fear all men. I know that the word all was not in there, but that's how I sort of understood it, which I don't think it's rational for women to fear all men. I think that's very tragic. We know that there are bad men. We know that there are
we should
very,
rely
very
on
good
men, not be scared of them.
I personally think that the amount of good men exceedingly overwhelms the amount
of
bad men,
course,
but that's
in general,
just my personal opinion. I also, quite frankly, fear women. I do. I fear how manipulative women can be to each other in the workplace. I fear how manipulative women can be to each other and how toxic women can be to each other.
Oh, you wouldn't believe. Girls can be very vicious to each other, manipulative, like more mentally manipulative. You know?
Physical abuse with men, and actually with emotional abuse is most common in lesbian couples.
Really?
So, yeah, that is actually.
You would know. It's horrendous.
Actually a statistic.
Horrendous.
Women are equally as likely to commit domestic violence. I genuinely, when I got into this work, I thought that it was going to be like, oh, just men commit domestic violence.
Mm-mm.
No, women
Bad.
are equally as likely to commit domestic violence.
But why were you surprised by that?
Because I had a different definition in my head of what domestic violence was before I got my training.
I think a lot of us felt like
violence
this.
is not just like
punching,
hitting, or physical violence. Oftentimes it's emotional violence, psychological violence, sexual violence, financial violence, legal violence. And women are far more likely to commit psychological domestic violence or emotional domestic violence. I do appreciate the ways in which we have been able to come together and agree, because I am of the opinion that feminism and anti-feminism, they do oftentimes blend, because I think a lot of the times we are misunderstanding what the other person is.
We all want what's good for women.
That's what I said.
Exactly.
Want an idea of what that is for women. Yes, but
I think that's all, guys. We're wrapping this out.
Even if I disagree, I love strong women. I love it. It's not a gay thing, maybe a little.
And all of our intentions are good. We don't want ill. That is a wrap.
Yay! We did both feminist, male and female. Yay! Hug. Are they gonna hug?
It started with.
I enjoy making these types of videos, you know. I really do. I encourage you guys to always leave your opinions down below, for real. Not just for the algorithm, but because I want to know what you guys think. Guys, let me know down below what topics you guys want me to talk about. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. With that being said, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.